What's up everyone? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going back to our aquaponics and we're going to look at maintenance. So what are the things that we need to keep an eye on constantly with our tank, and what are some of the routine things that we should do to keep our tank in tip-top condition and our fish healthy. So let's get started. So firstly, we're just going to cover some things that you can check on a regular basis just to make sure that your aquaponic system is in good shape. First thing is the water level. As we know, the plants like to drink the water in the tank, and we also lose a little bit of water from evaporation on the side here. In order to keep that level, we just need to top it up with, fresh dechlorinated water. And as we covered in previous videos, we just want to leave a little 1 centimeter gap between the tray and the water so that the roots can get to the water easily, but they also have oxygen. Another thing to just keep an eye on are both your heater and your water pump. Both of these can malfunction. They shouldn't, but they can. And so it's important just to make sure that they're both functioning properly. With the pump, you can just look at it. That looks like it's going okay. But any drops in water flow might mean that something's wrong with the pump. Maybe a rock has gotten into it and it might need a bit of attention. The heater can sometimes get stuck and either heat up too much or it can break and stop heating entirely. So getting a little temperature gauge like this in your tank can be good, but you can also just test it with your finger and see that the ambient temperature of the water is consistent. Now I'm going to run through some of the more routine parts of the maintenance that we should do on a monthly basis with our systems. A water test and a water change. Now with a water test, what we're doing is checking the pH, ammonia, nitrite and nitrate levels in the tank, and that's going to tell us a little bit about the water quality and whether or not we need to intervene with a water change. A water change is when we replace some of the water in the system with new, fresh, dechlorinated water. It's different to a water top-up. With the top-ups, we're just adding water in that has been taken away by the plants or through evaporation. With water change, we actually take away between 10 to 50% of the water in the tank and put new water in. This is important because over time, tanks can build up things like salts, any solids, organic solids that get stuck in the gravel that can't be broken down. They influence the water quality and need to be removed. Think of it like a river ecosystem, how much water is moving through constantly. Our tanks don't have that, so we need to kind of simulate that by doing water change. The great thing about aquaponics is that because we have microgreens growing with their roots into the water, we don't need to do water changes as much. Many of the nitrates in the water are being taken up by the plants, and so unlike a regular aquarium where you need to do a water change once a week, we can get away with doing it between 3 and 4 weeks. So let's start with a water test. Gonna get rid of this tray. So to conduct my water test, I'm going to use the Master Test Kit. It has these little test tubes that I'm going to get a sample with, and I'm going to use these bottles which drop into the test tubes and reveal the levels in the tank through the color of the liquid. If you don't have one of these tests, you can take a sample of your water down to your local aquarium and they'll test it for you. Alright, so that's our water test done. We can use this little guide that has come with our test kit to read the different levels of each chemical. Our pH is looking pretty okay. It's a little bit around 6, but that's okay. The nitrite is looking a-okay, and that's really good. We want that to be at 0. The nitrates are looking good. That's fine. But the ammonia, I'm definitely concerned about. It's a bright green. It should be yellow. That means that there's more ammonia in the system than there should be. There should be 0 ammonia, so we definitely need to do a water change now. Regardless of the results of your water test, you should do a water change at least once a month, between 10 to 20% of the water taking out. The first thing we need to do is turn off the electronics. So that's the heater and the light, which we don't have, so we're just going to turn off the heater. Okay, so you're going to need a few items to conduct your water test. First, a towel. You're probably going to get water somewhere, so it's good to just lay one of these down on the ground. Next, your bucket to do your water change into. And then lastly, something to actually get the water out of the tank and into the bucket. You can use a cup like this and just scoop, but what we like to do is use a siphon. These are cool because you can siphon the water out and clean the gravel at the same time. I've got two different types of siphons here, one with a pump and one without. These will both work, but this one I'll have to start with my mouth, and I don't want to do that, so I'm not going to use that one. To get the siphon going, put it into the tank and get the vacuum going, and there we go. I'm going to use the siphon, which is now acting as a little vacuum, to clean the gravel. This is good because it takes out any of the solids, so any organic matter such as extra fish feed, any plant matter that's started to break down and that the microbes can't get to. That's what's going to be causing the ammonia spike in my system. So I'm going to want to just clean the gravel as good as I can to get a lot of those larger organic solids out. Your fish won't mind while you do this, they'll just swim away, and the siphon's not strong enough to suck them up. Don't throw this away. You can use this water for your plants, indoor or outdoor. It's really good, it's got lots of nutrients and everything in it still, so make sure you use it, put it to good use. I'm now going to top up the tank with dechlorinated water. To dechlorinate the water, you can leave in a bucket for a few days so that the chlorine can evaporate, but you can also use a product like this here. This is called Prime. It's a water conditioner, and what this does is take the chlorine out of the water, out of tap water, faster. But you don't need to have this product if you don't want to. Alright, so I'm now going to add my new water to the tank. Now topped up our tank. It's looking pretty good. Can plug the heater back in now. And now the only step left is to put the microgreens back on the tank. Awesome, so hopefully my fish are going to be happy in their new ammonia-free water. I'm going to keep an eye on this tank and maybe do another water test tomorrow just to check the levels again. But yeah, that's how you do a water change and water test. It's good to get into a routine with this stuff. You know, like I said, with our aquaponic systems, they're pretty resilient. And so you don't need to do this stuff as much as you would with a regular aquarium. However, it's good to do it at least once a month. So just make a routine of it, add it to your calendar, make it like one day in a month you just do like a proper water test and water change, and then the other stuff just keep an eye on when you're looking at the tank and checking out your fish swimming around and things like that. And yeah, it's pretty easy. Thanks for watching today. If you guys have any questions about this content, make sure you chuck them in the group, and thanks for watching. See you next time.